Well, I'm in close to Gray, Tennessee. This is CSX here. It just goes over a pretty good sized wash. It's just kind of eroded out valley. You know, up outside of Minot, North Dakota, there's one of these. Back when they built the trestle, it was all wooden, and 2 different tornadoes destroyed that trestle like this. Like 2.5 times taller than this trestle, the one in Minot. And then there's one outside Lethbridge, Alberta, sort of like this. Well, getting closer. A little further up. Yeah, there's the top. I thought I seen some signal poles up there, but see if I can find a date, maybe. Let's see how high I got to go. I've never been back here. I've been over top, but it looks like a road goes up. Man, that was a hill. There's the viaduct. Looks like they're doing some work down here. Right here is the still catching my breath. Yeah, that trestle in Lethbridge, Alberta, that's a pretty popular one. I've only been over it a couple of times. The one in Minot, outside Minot, on the High Line, that baby, I've probably been on it, shoot, 200-300 times. There's the trestle itself. I don't know if them guys behind me will say anything. Alright. What feels eerie being up this high? There's Larry. Yeah, can you imagine being 2.5 times higher up? Like that one in Minot. Whoo-wee. Alright. I should have brought my paint pens for the box down here. But kind of used to this hat now, but feeling better. My back is completely back better, back to the same. We're going to try and get to a couple of tunnels here next. Oh, it's a new box they just installed, a control point box, signal box. See how deep they're burying it. That's why they got that trail leading up here. I guess they're replacing this old one here. But this is the control point I am at. Alright, we are over by Eastman in Kingsport. Eastman Chemical Company. There's like their main gate area. This is looking back towards the yard in Kingsport. Probably 2 miles up. Now looking back south, there we got the highway and we got the tunnel. The tunnel comes out on the Holston River Bridge. We'll go up there and take a look. You know, a lot of people ask me, they're like, hey, Shoestring, tell us a story about something bad that happened to you because of somebody else. And right off the bat, I can think of this kid I met. I was probably 25 at the time, and he was, I don't know, 30, 32 maybe. We met outside Houston, decided to travel together. He had never ridden a train, so we agreed to travel together, and we get up to Temple, Texas, Burlington Northern Santa Fe. It was like Burlington Northern then, just fixing to turn into BNSF. And we went into some business to ask for directions. And it wasn't a bank we went into, but it was like a, oh, I don't know, a credit union type place that helped you with your taxes and stuff. And I didn't notice it at the time, but there was one of them bank bags, one of those zip padded bags that you put money in, or businesses can put their daily money in to drop off. One of them was sitting on that lady's desk that we were asking directions for. And next thing I know, he's running out the door as fast as he can, and I still don't know what's going on yet. And she looks at me, says, what's wrong with your friend? I said, I don't know, I was fixing to ask you. And about, oh, I don't know, 15, 20 seconds later, she realized what happened. She grabbed the phone and called the police, and she told me, yep, there was a money bag sitting right there on my desk. That's what he grabbed and ran out the door with. So the cops got down there and were trying to accuse me of being with him. It was some kind of setup that we were both in on it together, but I was like, So cops asked where I met him and where all we had been together. But they eventually found him. I never saw him again, but I don't know how much money was in that bank bag, but he took off with it. But anyway, here's the tunnel. It goes under, let's see, 1927. Goes kind of under the freeway too. Well, watch them jagged rocks. I can smell that creosote. Well, they got brand new ties in here. See, that looks really neat how it's blasted out like this. Hard hat area. It kind of looks smoky in the screen because of that light contrast and the dark. Don't know why they got another trespass sign. Maybe one's for the tunnel and one's for the bridge. But here's another trestle. Well, there's a walkway on it. See, last time when I went across that video I got titled Crossing the Smoky Mountains, I wasn't prepared for this trestle here. So I didn't have my camera out to film it from the train when I went across it on the train. There's the Holston River, or the South Fork Holston, or something like that. Well, I'd say this is several feet higher than that last trestle. There's some kind of energy company, I believe. But there's a river. Boy, I kind of hope a train comes. Bleachers are great. Feels like I'm walking in midair. Oh, you fell from that. Wasn't that pretty neat? Heck, you could get down under there and roll out. Man, you talk about sleep good. No one would ever bother with you. They might spit on you from up top because they're mad because they can't get to you. I'm going to have to turn back and take a snapshot for the thumbnail somewhere along the line. Alright, take one more gander down here. It's not that long of a bridge or trestle. Hobo shadow. Alright, work our way back. There's a couple of engines and a caboose down here. If I tag the date on it, I know it's been a couple of years. Had a friend take me down here once with another friend, and oh, we just got a couple of photos. But yeah, look at this rock that they just blasted at. All that soot. Man, wonder how many trains have been through here. I bet there's been almost an equal amount of steam trains as diesel electric. I like the old rustic look tunnels that are blasted instead of this concrete. It's about 3 o'clock, so if trains running on time, that 93 ought to be, well, it should have came through about 2, 3. So there may be one if it's on time. But as usual, my experience, southbound usually comes around 7 in the morning, and about the same for northbound usually, as far as your GM, your regular mixed freight junk. Mixed cars with like tank cars, gondolas, box cars, grainers. That's GM, general manifest. And there's your 35, the freight, 35 miles an hour. Now if you're on a line that has Amtrak and freight, you'll see 2 signs. Amtrak's always about 10, 15 miles an hour faster. You'll see P, you'll see like 70, and you'll see F, and it'll say like 50. Now let's see if this, I know it's not going to be on, it's too warm, but in the winter time, I've showed these before, that propane storage tank. Right here, fire lights up in here. All along there, that heats that grease up, that track grease. That way the switch will, the tracks will slide easier with that warm grease. That'd be neat to see the signal change, I mean the track change and move over automatically. Alright, we're walking back north. Let's see what CP we're at. And That's it for this. We'll go down and look at the caboose and locomotives. Alright, we are back down by Eastman. That's the main entry to Eastman. Yeah, it's got a Freddy on the back. Yeah, they use that down in Eastman. There's so many manual switches. There's no automatic switches, so there's got to be a guy on the end of the train to switch all them manual switches instead of the worker on front of the train walking back and doing it. Oh, I love that smell. Surprised they're not running. They may have already done their work. Probably most of it yesterday, Saturday. Door open. The old stove. Yep, sit up there to keep an eye on your train. Nice weather. But anyway, a tour of the caboose. Anyway, that's it for this area of Eastman and the tunnel and the trestle. They're right, those 1 yard engine. That I can't really make it out. The screen is not bright enough, but this is the CSX yard in Irwin. There is a caboose down here. I'm not sure if I'm pointing the camera into it or not. But we are at the CSX crew change office. Yeah, I see that caboose now. We'll walk down. Of course, somebody calls my name, tells me, hey, you can't be here. Yeah, that's a, I can't tell yet on that caboose. I like these old style cabooses. They don't have the high cupola on them. They may be doing some yard work here in a little bit. Yeah, that other one was made in 1981 and had the leaf springs like this. Let's see, this was, yeah, that was in 1981 too, February. Hadn't been rebuilt yet. We got a winder out. Yeah, that grainer there, that could be a bad order. Or it's going down one of them once a month spurs. Yeah, and here's your yard office crew change here in Kingsport, Tennessee. There's where they get their bags of ice. And there's one of the new crew change cars they got. And well, that's nice. Well, I kind of like this. It's a clean yard office here. I'll go up and take a look at this locomotive. Let's see who tagged this. Well, I can't see the engine number on it yet. But anyway, there's the supplies and tools and stuff in that little shed. Yeah, just some engines here. They just put the crew on these. Well, that back one kind of sounded different than I've ever heard. It had a whine to it, a yearn sound to it. Here's another crummy. Let's see what that graffiti says here. Roy. The lady with a hole for a brain. There's another cooler. Man, this must be Caboose week. Welded up. All the windows are. Going out from Aberdeen, South Dakota to Hettinger, North Dakota. I rode in a caboose that was all welded up like that on a coal train. Went out to the coal mine 20 miles west of Hettinger. But yeah, there's the crappy side to ride. Well, that's 1, 2, 3, 4. They got 5 road engines down in this yard right now. He's on his way up somewhere. Well, we are down here in the Frisco yard. Frisco yard. Not much really in here. That's a pusher there, a DPU. See the Freddy, the EOT? The EOT, so that's the end of the train. That's the pusher engine there on that coal train. Yeah, this is looking west. This is looking back south. That goes back towards Bull's Gap. Show the fuel, if you can see it. I can't make it out. There's 6-axle. Really not too powerful of a road locomotive. See the number 3203 and then a 3421. They're probably about, I don't know, 1,500, 1,800 horsepower, whereas That engine down here, probably about 3,400 horsepower. Wait, I see a caboose down there too, I think. Yep. Old red caboose. This here's a Frisco yard. See, he's got 1, 2, 3 traction axles. Most yard engines just have 4. So if you're ever looking at a train go by and you see a locomotive that just has 4 axles, you know it really ain't going that far. Now these make hops down to Eastman into the CSX yard to switch out cars. Yeah, ST40. You can always tell by the sound of the engine running too if it's a lower horsepower versus something that's a deeper rumble. Okay, well, this is the Yuma yard. Just a small yard. It's probably 10 tracks wide. It's actually slightly bigger than Bristol, Tennessee yard. Good to see a boxcar. Now, you see these painted stripes on the railroad ties? Those are spotter marks. Whenever you're parking cars, spotting cars, you park the last one right there at that railroad tie. That way they don't stick out too far, because the tracks start coming together and that reduces the distance in between the cars for a man to be able to walk in between safely. But let's take a look over here. This actually looks loaded. Very loaded. Yeah, see how close together those springs are? Excess height. Ugly duckling car. I think I've told the story on the ugly duckling, because they stand out like an ugly duckling. The excess height. Well, the angle cocks turn, so they'll be going that way with them. The other end of this train, that angle cock will be turned sideways shut. But these are the plug doors. This is the type boxcar I got locked in 91. Twist the handle and the door comes out and slides. I just didn't spike the door or crank it back down. Now a lot of times these seals will tell the name of the company that loaded it, but that just says Uline on it. You'll see something like De Beers if it's hauling diamonds, or Coors if it... No, I'm just kidding about the diamonds. Let's see who that is. Passing by. There's some of them old hoppers that haul that concrete mix. Boy, that's an itchy ride, I tell you. Oh, the brake shoes. They're supposed to clean that up, but yep, haze empty, I can already tell. See how you can get a finger in between? Empty, empty. Yeah, right here. That's where they lift the cars. Like if it derails or they need to lift it up to put a new truck or new axle on. Yep, these green box cars here, you see a lot of them down south. Like DeRidder, Louisiana, DeQuincy, on that KCS UP line down in that area. When you're in Shreveport and see a big cut of these green box cars, you always know that one's going down towards Lake Charles. But yeah, Yuma yard. There's a little bit more action here. Well, not action, but a little bit more freight. It probably still needs worked. But the yard office and all the work stuff, there's probably actually no one even here. Anyway, that's what we got so far here at Yuma. Not much. You can see how it's a high-speed curve. See how the track's tilted. Well, there's a tunnel straight ahead. Goes under the mountain here. That's looking north once you make the curve. So this is about north. See how it's on an angle. We'll go up and see if we can't find that tunnel. It's Kermit on this side and Spears Ferry on the other. Look at that condensation inside there. Feel that cold air coming out. 1909. It does look like a painting. Let's see if that looks thick in there. I smell something dead. A carcass. Caracas. It's a caracas. Man, looks like smoke. A steam engine just went through. This one's got to be a couple of thousand. A couple of thousand foot. God, so condensation in here. Woo! All right. Far in the tunnel. I better turn around. Get out of the tunnel. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed the video.